Fun fact, only 4.1% of you guys are actually subscribed, so please, if you do find the video helpful and enjoy it, please consider subscribing or at least liking the video, since it doesn't hurt you at all and it only helps me. Comment any questions that you do have and enjoy. In today's video, I will be revealing the best spot up / lockdown build in NBA 2K21 Next Gen in my opinion. So starting off with build number 1, this is going to be a small forward build. The reason why I'm making 2 builds is because if you do bump your player up to a power forward, you can get way more badges. But I feel like most people, when they make a lockdown build, they want to make it either a small forward or a shooting guard. For build number 1, I would recommend dropping the height down to 6'6" and dropping the weight down to minimum. You can actually bump this up 1 if you want to. I'll just go ahead and do it. And then for the wingspan, I would also recommend maxing that out, as after all, you're going to be a lockdown. For the body shape, this is actually somewhat important, because if you go burly, you'll get stuck on screens. If you go slight or compact, you won't get bum steal, so I'd recommend going with build. As always, on this My Builder screen, we're just going to go ahead and get the obvious things out of the way. Boom, and just like that, we are completely done with all the obvious things out of the way. As you guys can see, we have already used a ton of our attributes up, and that is because we upgraded steel. Steel is just such an expensive thing to upgrade. As you can see, when I drop down steel, I only lose a few defensive and rebounding badges, but I also lose like 6 overall. So upgrading steel is super expensive, but I feel like if you're gonna be a lockdown, you need to be in those passing lanes and you need to be getting those bump steals, which is really important. First thing that I am going to want to do is bump up my offensive rebound so that I can get 27 defensive and rebounding badges, which will be at a 78 offensive rebound. And then scrolling up to playmaking, as you can see, I can't touch the ball handling or the speed of the ball at all, or else I'll lose a playmaking badge. And honestly, having 6 playmaking badges is more than enough for a lockdown / spot up build. I even know some people that go with 0 playmaking badges. For the shooting, it's going to be the second most important category, so we're going to bump your free throw all the way up to 84 to have 21 shooting badges. And then scrolling up here to the finishing, we can throw the rest on standing dunk. We'll have 4. The reason why I go standing dunk instead of driving layup is because I get way more badges upgrading standing dunk than driving layup. As you can see, I can only have 1 if I upgrade driving layup. And also, not to mention, the meta is not taking contested layups, so it's not even worth upgrading. If you guys do want to just scroll down here and drop your stamina just 5 ratings, you can get 6 finishing badges, which is honestly kind of insane that 5 stamina can lead to 2 finishing badges, which I think it is a more than worth it deal. As you can see, we don't have very many badges on this build, but we do have a ton of badges in the important categories. We have 27 defensive rebounding badges. You'll be locking up everybody. You'll be able to shoot the lights out, and not to mention, you'll still be able to dribble with an 84 ball handling, which will be 86 when you hit 97 overall, and you'll be dunking on everybody with 6 finishing badges and a 95 driving dunk. You don't really need finishing or playmaking on this build because you're not going to be ball handling too much, and you're also not really going to be rim running too much. But from time to time, if you have an open lane, you don't want to get put in some dumb animation, which is why having a driving dunk is important. Moving on to the takeovers, in my opinion, you should prioritize clamps over spot precision, since I think that's more important. So I'd recommend for your first takeover going extreme clamps, and for takeover number 2 going spot precision. As you can see, we have built a 2-way scoring machine, which I think is a pretty accurate name, and I'm glad they actually put 2-way in the name for once. Moving on to build number 2. As I stated earlier, build number 2 is going to be power forward, and the reason why I decided to include this in the video is because as a power forward, you can get way more badges. For the height, I would recommend dropping it all the way down to minimum, which in this case will be 6'7", and additionally for the weight, I would recommend dropping it down to 210. Then, since you are locked down, obviously max out the wingspan. As I stated before, built is going to be your body shape of choice. Obviously on this screen, let's go ahead and get the obvious things out of the way right now. Boom, and just like that, all the obvious things are out of the way. Right here, we're pretty much going to do the exact same thing, just up our offensive rebound just a little bit to get 29 defensive and rebounding badges. The next thing we're going to do is scroll up to playmaking and bump up our pass accuracy to 29 so we can have 10 playmaking badges. Moving on to shooting, if we put our free throw all the way up to 23 shooting badges, and we up it up 3, we can get 24 shooting badges. If we up it up 3 again, we can get 25 shooting badges. But if we up it up 3 again, we don't get our 26th shooting badge until we upgrade it 4. This pretty much means that upgrading your free throw to an 88 and having 25 shooting badges is pretty much the sweet spot. And then if we scroll up here to standing dunk, max out standing dunk, we have 8 finishing badges. And then with the rest of our attribute points, if we do throw it on driving layup, we can go ahead and get 12. This is pretty much the rundown: 12, 25, 10, and 29, which is honestly pretty good and is way more badges than we did get on the small forward. It's up to you which one you want to go with. I know that for me personally, I would rather have someone else run power forward, and I would just usually run with a small forward build, but it is completely up to you which one you want to go with. With the last attribute point, you can throw it on whatever you want. For me, I don't think vertical or strength is very important, so I'll just throw it on interior D. Moving on to takeovers, I'm going to go with the same ones. Just extreme clamps and spot up, I think, are the best for this build, since you are a lockdown and a spot up. And as you can see, we've built a scoring machine with 29 defensive and rebounding badges. That's actually crazy if you guys think about it. 29 shooting badges, but this name says scoring machine and not two-way scoring machine or two-way sharpshooter. Anyways, y'all, that's pretty much it for the video. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe, as it does help me out so much. Like the video if you did enjoy it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.